What's good? It's Fever. Today we're going to go over briefly the mods that earned File of the Month for November according to Nexusmods. And I'll just be giving you a little bit more information about each mod, even though some of these mods I could talk about for like 10 minutes straight. These are just kind of like elevator pitches. So starting at number 5, we have WICO, or Windsong Immersive Character Overhaul. And this was previously known as Windsong Skyrim Character Overhaul in the classic version, and it plays the role of giving the people of Skyrim a lore-friendly total body facelift. And this means higher quality textures for the body, the hair, the war paint, the scales, the fur, the skin, and countless faces have gotten some unique attention and some love, which all just results in the people looking better and more distinct than they usually do. But unlike the other usually more popular mods that do a similar type of thing, in Windsong Immersive Character Overhaul, the NPCs still look authentic to Skyrim and not like characters taken straight out of an anime or a CoverGirl shoot, but they don't look like potatoes. The mod also for some reason has the Witcher 3 gear tacked onto it and some generic followers, and this is a mod that I use to overhaul my characters and is a staple to my mod list. Next up at number 4, we have Sofia, the funny, fully voiced follower. I'm going to be honest with you, I hate most followers. Gameplay-wise, I feel that they take away most difficulty and are hard to balance around, and the game always manages to have them block doors and get in your way. The engine's too clumsy usually for followers. And for the mod added ones, the voice acting is normally terrible. Sofia is a strange case, as the voice acting is quite good, which makes sense because the voice actor is Final Christine, someone who has voice acted in mods like Fallscar and Helgen Reborn, and so voice acting in the mod is on point quality-wise. But content-wise is where it's a little bit divisive, because through the extensive dialogue that, yes, it reacts to the surroundings, and yes, it sometimes even knows what you're doing, Sofia does have a believable personality. She's goofy and boastful and witty, and it actually reminded me a lot of my sister, but she is just half of what she says is peppered with sexual innuendo. And this is where I lost all interest in the mod. It's well done as a character, it's great, it's well done in regards to dialogue options and appearances. It's kind of cool to get her drunk and have her sing Skyrim songs with slurred, incorrect lyrics, but it's very heavy-handed in this type of fan service, which just immediately breaks the tone of the game, which I guess goes with the territory with a lot of these follower mods. It's definitely better than 90% of the followers I've tried though, but I would never install it again, but I see why people like it. Number 3 is going to be a familiar name, Frostfall. Frostfall is a crazy-ass mod that almost is a game onto itself. A survival game based on living in the seemingly harsh environments found in Skyrim. It revolves around the idea of an exposure meter, and as you are exposed to the elements, it increases, and as it increases, you begin suffering penalties, and at maximum exposure, you either lose consciousness or you die. And to support this, you have a different stat, Warmth, which is gained through clothing and armor and items that helps reduce exposure rates, as well as Wetness, where when it rains and you get wet, you're more susceptible to the elements, which increases exposure. And there's a counter stat to that, Coverage, again based on gear that allows you to stave off the wet for a while by just covering up. So this in itself is an act of trying to stay warm and dry, and on a technical side, Frostfall pulls from your location and the weather and the time to really take into account your surroundings and how it contributes to your exposure in like a meaningful way, and makes you just appreciate a sunny day. But when a blizzard comes around, you need to start looking for an inn for the night to wait out the storm, stock up on warm soup, but if you're caught in the wild away from town, the mod goes deeper. And through one of the required mods here, you can forage for lumber and branches and build campfires and tents and sleeping rolls, and you can even build a bit of a mini home outdoors complete with cooking spit and tanning rack and just stay close to the fire to remain warm, just to rough it out. It also has a ton of supporting features like a skill tree devoted to survival, custom spells for magical schools. Also plays around with magic where if you're hit with fire magic it increases your warmth to a point, and it increases your exposure if you're hit with frost magic. There's alternate rates for vampire and werewolves, vibration settings for those of you using controllers that just make it a joy to play through. The polish level is so high. The problem though for me is that it can quickly take over your playthrough in just surviving and not getting anything else done. This is a mod that I build a mod list around, but I don't just put into any mod list. Coming in at number 2 is Immersive Armors, and I've been going a little bit longer on these prior mods than I wanted to, so I'm going to keep this one short. This adds 50 to 60 different armor types into the game in a very organic way. They are injected into the leveled lists, so you're going to be seeing NPCs wearing them with stronger armor hidden until you level up. You'll find them in chests, in shops, you can even craft them, and this is a type of mod that just adds a shit ton of variation with almost no effort because it's only one mod, which usually comes at a price of quality, but this mod, that's not the case. Everything is of good quality. There's a reason that this is one of the most popular armor mods, period. Top 10 most popular mods of all time. It supports vanilla and UNP body types, and what's important, just some really cool armor. If more is better, this is the best. And number 1, INIGO. I told you earlier that I hated most follower mods. This is the mod that made me need to qualify that statement with most. INIGO is a different breed. I cannot say enough positive things about this character. On a technical level, the amount of control and the amount of situational and context-specific scenarios and dialogue and scenes that play out with INIGO is incredible. And there's also this whistle power that just gives you this great deal of menuless control over INIGO that works well and rounds out the rough edges that all followers fall victim to because of the engine. Story, quest, character development. If INIGO is in your game, he's probably the most fleshed out and believable character in your game. But then, as a follower, he plays that supporting role so well, where even with his depth and huge story and just everything about him is crazy, he doesn't overpower your story or become just background noise or annoying. He isn't pushy or intrusive, he's just there, and his depth is there if you care to dig into it. The voice work is superb, but what's more amazing is that this is an amateur modder's first foray, or first big foray into modding, and you can tell that this is a passion project and the author actually wanted to or does still play with them, because a mod like this that has been developed consistently over the course of a couple of years just has this level of polish that you can only get when you fix it from a user perspective. Things like when you're in sneak, he stops speaking unless he's spoken to, and when you do speak to him, he whispers. He'll recognize if he's blocking you in a doorway and comment on it and move out of the way. And he has like 7,000 lines of dialogue. He has something to say about everything. And it's to that point where a player had to be playing and say like, oh, INIGO should comment here. I'll just write that in. He's also dynamic to not only the decisions that you make and the time you spend with him, but your own morality. And you would be hard-pressed to find people who have negative things to say about this purple cat who have tried it. I don't do this mod justice here. Even the official video for a past version barely scratches the surface, and that video is like 16 minutes long. INIGO is the shit, and that's going to do it for me. These were the top files from November. Hopefully they gave you a bit of insight. Maybe you'll check out one or two of them, maybe not. Until next time, this is Fever. Pulse.